What is up there, SEO pros? Alright guys, so today what we're talking about is the biggest regret I have in the SEO career that I've had in the last couple years. Basically there's actually a couple regrets, but one of the biggest ones is not creating a sort of a funnel or a call to action going to some sort of controllable asset. So what that means is, for instance, if you look at the top of this right here, you look at above this video, you can see that it says text the word SEO to 66866. Now, if you do that, what it'll do is it'll actually opt you into an email list, and it'll also send you a link for the Facebook group so you can join the Facebook group. The reason why you want to do this is because when you start getting people in places that you control the traffic, you basically control that traffic, and anything that you don't control is a liability. So like for a long time, I would do blogs. I would do, one second. Oh my God, that scared the heck out of me. I thought that was the client login spreadsheet. That was gonna freak me out, but that was the work log, thank God. For instance, I would do like, I'll show you an old blog I used to manage. So if I go to RCH blog and we go into like, this was like literally like, this was 2 years ago I was doing these blogs. You'll see I started, actually getting some traffic. Like I'd share this on social media. I'd bring people in here and, some of these were ranking organically. I'd get some traffic, but nowhere in here am I funneling people to a place that I control the traffic. So a lot of the people who went to this page wound up never coming back. So as you know now, I have a Facebook group which has like almost 3,000 people in it, and this was over the course. I generated this many people in here over the course of probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Same thing with the email newsletter I have. I have like, I don't know, close to 600, 700 people signed up now. But I just recently started pushing it. So there's different ways that you can actually do this stuff. Like for instance, you can do the text to sign up. You can create content upgrades for your posts. You can just, I use something called Thrive Leads that works really well. I have something on my homepage right now where I've been getting a lot of signups where it says get instant access to the Facebook group, and then they put their email in, then I get their email, and then they get the link to the Facebook group and they sign up there. So that's like the #1 biggest regret that I have. I'll talk about some other regrets in a second. But if I would have done this like 2 years ago, I probably would have had a Facebook group with like 10,000 people in it. And the thing is that when you have Facebook groups, it's so much easier to do certain things. Like for instance, if we go to Chase Reiner, like we Google it, and we go in here, you can see I got 144 5-star reviews. Now, that's all from the people in this group, because once people join the group, all I have to do is go to members. And since this was created by me, you can see it says the SEO Network by Chase Reiner. All I have to do is just go to date added, like this, default, join date, and then anybody who's a new member, I probably haven't messaged them yet, so all I have to do is just press message, and now I just have to send them a link from Plepper asking them for a review, and that's how I've been getting reviews. So you can get tons of reviews this way. Not only that, but you can go in here, you can ask people for contributions to a post. You can post like your links. So like for instance, I just posted this link for YouTube right here for my video. My biggest regret about SEO. So then people are going to be able to see this video. For instance, say they didn't see it in YouTube. Now they're going to be able to see it here. So of course I'm going to be able to get more visitors. And then, at the same time, sometimes you're able to get links and other things as well. It's just so important. The other thing is you get the ability to take polls. Like for instance, I ask questions all the time in here, and a good example of this was when I ran a smoke screen. So as some of you guys know, I have a course. So if I go here, or if I go to SEO course, you'll see right here it says first 100 entry for Chase Reiner's only private SEO course. So before this was actually made, I had nothing. I had no videos. This was about a month and a half ago. I said, look, anybody who wants to pay for this course before it's made, I did a pre-launch. I'll give it to you for cheaper, 97 bucks or whatever it was. And so what happened is a lot of people signed up for this. And I didn't think a lot of people would. I wound up getting in the next 2 days close to like $3,000 to $4,000 in signups because I posted this on my Facebook group and then in my emails that I've been collecting, and as well as my YouTube channel, which is just another reason why you can basically well, hold on, sorry. So what I did to get that, so I went in here, first of all, before I made this, I said, created a poll, and I said, what is your biggest struggle in SEO? I added a couple options, and everybody was saying they needed to get SEO clients. So that's how I knew what my course was going to be about. Then after that, I took another poll like 2 days later, and I said, how much would you pay for this course? And everybody said $97. So then I just did a pre-sale, and I already knew that if I didn't get enough sales, I would just refund all these people, because there's a built-in capability in ClickFunnels that'll let you do that. So that's just another reason. You can do screening as well with your email list or your YouTube, whatever you want to do. You can also do giveaways. So like you'll see right here, I did a giveaway, which wound up getting like 29 comments, and this was for the SEO course. So it just gives more value and more reason for people to join this as well, and get more views on your channel and whatever else. The list keeps going on and on, but that's why my biggest regret is not creating a funnel to different controllable assets like email, Facebook group. You could just get YouTube subscribers, you could get podcast subscribers, whatever you want, as long as you're getting people signing up for something where they're going to be able to see you in the future, because you don't want to just be creating content for no reason. The other thing is that let me get out of here. The other thing is that what was the other one? Let me see. Oh yeah, so the other big one was not creating a value ladder, and I talked about this on the preview video for the SEO course I made. Basically, and I showed you guys this on a paint sketch, which was really bad. But basically, you can create these things called value ladders, and I pretty much copied this from ClickFunnels, the CEO of ClickFunnels. And so what you do is you basically figure out what your different value ladders are. So like if you're going to be giving out free content, you got to realize that, free content can only go so far, right? Because if you're not capturing people with this free content, or you're not leading them to the next step of this value ladder, you're not going to be making any money, and you're just going to be wasting your time, which is what I did for a really long time. I remember when I first started doing SEO, I started with blogging, and then I started doing a podcast, and I got like 9,000 downloads on that podcast. And I was interviewing like people like Rand Fishkin and Tim Solo from Ahrefs and all these people, but I wasn't making any money, and I didn't have a value ladder. It was just a podcast, and then that was it. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to figure out how can you get free content, and then funnel people to the next part of your value ladder, which is going to be, whatever your lowest barrier to entry is. So I have a value ladder for audits. It used to be like $200 for an audit. Lately, it's been like $500 for an audit. I have another value ladder for the SEO course, which is like, the SEO course now is $300. We're creating another value ladder for a webinar. And the cool thing is, within all these value ladders or the free content, you can just start cross-promoting all these different things like I am right now. So you guys know that, all of this stuff exists. So it's really important to figure out how can you create multiple value ladders and be able to promote those with the free content, because you don't want to be wasting your time, giving away a bunch of free stuff only to be able to sell to one person. You want to be able to kill multiple birds with one stone. And I personally try to spend as much time as I can working on the things that are valuable for me, which are like long-term assets versus like the short-term assets, which is what a lot of SEOs do. They just build a lot of links, and a lot of the strategies that they use are not based on like actual marketing techniques. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, instead of building authority, they'll just be trying to build sales and not control their traffic. So like if you were to build like 50 links to a product page, maybe you start making money off of it, but then that page maybe gets hit by an algorithm or something. You're not building any authority, you're not generating reviews, you're not funneling people to controllable assets, and that's just a huge problem, right? Some of the other things around the regrets I have for the SEO industry, in the SEO industry, is not streamlining the process. So a lot of the things I was doing back in the day is I was spending a bunch of time doing manual things, and you really have to understand that in anything that you do, there's going to be some part of it's going to be manual, no matter what. But what you want to think about is like if you can teach somebody else to do it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it unless that's exactly like what you want to do, like that's like your passion, right? So like a good example of this is like email outreach. you can train somebody to do that for you and pay them, you know, whatever you need to pay and make an ROI off that. Whether it be you delivering that for a client or you doing like maybe a skyscraper for yourself or whatever you're doing. But if you're spending all your time doing manual outreach through email and you're really good at SEO, you're kind of wasting your time. So it's really important to figure out what's going to be wasting your time. Like you want to hyper focus what you're good at and then spend all your time doing that. Let's see what we're at for viewers. What do you guys think about this stuff? What are some of your biggest regrets? Holy cow, we got 26 people watching. By the way, I say this in every video, but if you guys could leave a like, it'll help me hit more people on the YouTube algorithm. It'd be really helpful. Looks like the likes are going up. Thanks, guys. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys could leave your comment on what your biggest regret is, that'd be cool. Let's think of any more regrets. So the other thing is building content that isn't like substantial content. So a lot of my time went into not building substantial content and just building like small posts. So like for instance, I showed you guys that blog before, the Reliable Computer Help. So if I go here and then I go into here, you'll see like this is 5 reasons why you should do something, right? It got like 20 shares, not too bad, but of course it's probably not ranking very well. The thing about this is like nobody wants to read 5 reasons for anything anymore. It's just there's so many blogs out there now where it's just like automatically published content or it's just like low quality content. You want to be able to build out skyscrapers or at least start building out some skyscrapers before you start and like have an audience before you start doing these 5 tips. Like personally, I could now do 5 tips or something and it would probably go a long way because I have an audience now, right? But even then, I would still much rather build long form content and rank it because of the long form content has a bunch of different perks. Now I'll show you. So like for instance, this is like, you know, something that really isn't that quality. It's like 5 tips on something. Even I personally probably wouldn't want to read that. But if you look up, like I'm ranking right now for White Hat SEO 2017, right? Because I did a skyscraper post. I clicked on if I click on this, I'll show you. So what I did here is I just started listing all the stuff I know about White Hat SEO. I just started listing like, you know, number 1, create a value ladder, or number 1, utilize authority sites that are ranking for keywords. I just started, you know, writing about all this stuff, right? I could have stopped at 5 tips, but I knew that if I spent more time, and this was over a course of like, you know, multiple days. I didn't do all this in one day because this is like 17,000 words. But I knew that if I just kept adding to this and I created a really good list of a lot of different things, it would be a lot more valuable and it'd be easier to rank than if I were to just do like 5 tips on something. The other thing is like you can do multiple things in here. Like you can share a tip a day on social media if you wanted to. You can relaunch this content with 30 more tips. And usually when you relaunch content that's already long form, you'll end up ranking for more keywords or LSI variations of those keywords. You can also do guest contributions in the post, which is what I did. So I built out like 60 tips and then I started emailing people, which this is one of my, you know, regrets, like I said before, is not doing, actually maybe I didn't say this one, not doing outreach through automation. That was one of them actually. And what that means is like you can go in here with Pitchbox or Ninja Outreach or whatever, Buzz something. There's like this other one, is it like Buzz Sumo or something? I forget. But you can actually just automatically email people based off the keywords that they're ranking for. It'll find their websites and ask them for their tip, right? So you get all this information from them and then you just link back to their site. Then they're likely to link back to your article. They're also likely to share your article as well on social media and all this good stuff, right? So if I click on, what was it? Oh yeah. So a good example of this too is I've done posts before where it wasn't even any of my tips. It was literally just other people's tips. So like this right here, it's ranking #1 for beginner fishing tips. I did the automation for this through Pitchbox, and you can see it's just 38 tips. it's ranking #1 and it's getting about like 1,000 to 2,000 clicks a month now for this, because beginner fishing tips is a really good keyword to rank for. So if we click into it, you can see these are all just contributions we've got through Pitchbox. And this is something you can continually streamline, right? Another big regret is for clients not coming up with things that are deliverables that you can do each month, right? The thing about SEO is that once you get to a certain point, it's kind of hard to keep doing SEO unless you're doing maintenance, right? So like, for instance, say we do a roadmap, right? I'll just bring up a roadmap. Oh, that's not a good roadmap. Let me bring up a different one. Here we go. So this was for driveway cleaning Tampa Bay. So after we fix all these things, what do we have to do, right? Maybe build out another roadmap. I mean, it gets very limited after you get to a certain point. And so one of the things that you can continually deliver on is content, funnels, and building like paid campaigns, as well as some other stuff. But those top 3 things are going to be things that you can continually do, and you can also continually optimize as well. Like for instance, content, you're always going to be able to optimize new content because it's new content, right? And you're going to be able to, and you're going to want to optimize it and probably relaunch it with more content in the future. So that's why with all my clients now, I try to, spend more time building out things that are deliverables each month versus just SEO implementation, and having, at a certain point be limited with the things that I can pursue on. The biggest problem is that if you have clients and you're only doing SEO for them, it's going to be hard to tell them what you're doing next month if you're running out of things to do. So that's why you always need to have something that you can continually deliver on. And I personally, like some SEOs, what they do is they just say like they do link building every month, which is just like manual outreach. I would much rather build authority for these people by creating funnels to assets where they control the assets through like Facebook groups like we were talking about, or emails, content, like long form content through guest contributions like Pitchbox, that kind of thing, and continue optimizing that stuff, like optimize new content, and also make sure that we're managing any problems with the SEO after a certain amount of time. Like I said, after you get to a certain amount of time of SEO, you start to run out of stuff to do, and then it becomes more maintenance. So there was some more regrets, but I don't remember. Holy cow, we got so many people watching. Let's see what you guys said about your regrets.
Some of them, are kind of confusing.
Hi Chase, what's up? Really good to see you, bro. What's up? Vishal Islam Hoot says, is it that you didn't build more PBNs? Definitely not. I am your bigger fan. Thanks, man. Hola, hola, what's up? Yes, funnel is important. Preach it. Hey, you're actually doing it. I was the only one who asked you make this. Yeah, I know. I was asking you guys if you wanted me to make this video, and like nobody said yes. Ionut says, hi Chase. I was wondering, how did you create the intro for your live sessions? I just bought it off Fiverr for $5. Tell me about your guest post impact. I don't know what that means. My biggest regret, not finding your channel any sooner. Right on. Not thinking ahead, not seeing trends earlier. Yeah, but I mean, there's always going to be, on the internet, there's always going to be something you're going to miss. So it's about identifying what those things are and then going for them as soon as you find them. Regrets, not creating exactly what you're talking about, assets, digital products you only build once. Yeah, regret hitting the trigger sooner. What does that mean? Buzz stream, you can create content and build, yeah. Chase, what if you already meet the main goals, funnels, position, lead generation, what else to do? How justify your activity after 2 to 3 years doing SEO for the same company? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like you can always build authority for people, right? That's limitless. And so anything that you spend time doing where it's around building authority by doing, funnels, you can start doing paid advertising to boost these funnels through Facebook, search engine marketing, start repurposing content from like skyscrapers to video and hitting on multiple search engines, and then collecting people inside controllable assets. that's something that you can continually do every single month for the end of time. Of course, you can do more on certain hourly retainers than others, but the other problem is that you don't really want to charge hourly retainers, because anytime you start doing things by the hour, it starts to mess up what your deliverables are, because people are more focused on what you're doing hourly versus what the actual end product is, which when you do it by products, you can charge a lot more versus hours. With hours, if you start charging $300, $400 an hour, it sounds ridiculous, and people are like super paranoid about what you're doing in the hours because they don't want to pay $400 an hour. But if you're selling products, you can charge $400 an hour and charge, you know, whatever the 10 hours it would be to create that post or create that funnel or whatever it is, or like do a package of implementations for somebody, just taking care of what you're saying you're doing in the roadmap, and it would still be $400 an hour because that's how many hours it would take. But you're not having people being paranoid about how many hours you're spending on stuff because you're just selling the products, right? They don't need to know that it takes 10 hours to do this, as long as you're delivering on what you're saying you're delivering on. That's the biggest thing. Is a lot of my big mistakes in the past is I spent too much time trying to figure out how I can just like do manual things and like just be able to hit a certain amount of hours, instead of figuring out how can I streamline this process, how can I turn this into something that's more of a package or a product and sell that, and have people and teach people how to help implement these things so I can streamline this, instead of just me manually going in, spending all of my time working 10 to 15 hours a day doing implementation for like just changing title tags, which, you know, once you get to a certain point, you don't want to be spending all your time changing title tags. Like that's the kind of thing that you can hire somebody to help you with. When you first start, of course, you want to do all this stuff yourself so you can learn, and you know, it is important to be able to get small clients in the beginning, and a lot of this stuff's going to be manual. But once you learn how to do it, you don't need to be spending all your time doing everything that's manual just because you know how to do it. Like you have to get help at a certain point if you want to scale. And that's the hardest part about the SEO industry, is like when you scale, and this is what happened to me, you stop doing as much SEO and you just start trying to figure out how can you get other people to help you streamline this process, which becomes pretty difficult. Because for me, I don't like managing people. That's why I do this stuff in the first place, is like I like to be able to teach. I like to be able to you know, talk to you guys and learn about SEO and be sort of the guy who's like, you know, bringing in the leads, that kind of thing. I don't like being the guy who has to freaking cross-check everybody's work, you know, see what hours everybody's putting into certain clients, like all this stuff. Like it's insane. So that's why, like, as you can see here, we have a couple of people in this office. There's Travis. I'd show you Jake, but he's in the corner. That's why I have people, I'm hiring people to help me do this stuff so that we can spend less time doing the things that are super manual and have you know, me help with the things that are way more technical and the things that are worth my time and the things I'm actually interested in. Because it's really easy to lose your passion doing this stuff by taking on 100 clients at once. And that's actually what happened last month. This was one of my other regrets, is taking on so many clients just because I was trying to you know, be this big SEO guy who was, you know, making all this money from clients, and I was charging only like $1,000 per client. So that's the other thing, is you have to figure out what your overhead is, because you can be spending a lot of time, you know, just getting clients and then doing work for them, and, you know, be making $1,000 per client, but then running around everywhere trying to, you know, do reporting, trying to manage all these clients, trying to manage the workers, trying to remember what, you know, you're even supposed to be doing from all these different roadmaps, because there might be different things that are blocking you, like logins, and for instance, maybe the server's down or whatever. So a lot of it has to do with communication also, or what if, you know, last weekend I got emailed by like 7 clients, and that's like all I have is like 7 clients now, which I upgraded them to like 2.5 grand retainers. But that's still really annoying, because you have to be able to respond to all of these people, and sometimes they have, you know, huge lists of questions where the questions will be in different parts of the email. Like for instance, somebody will send me like, you know, a 5-paragraph email, and they won't even list out what their questions are. They'll just put them randomly in different parts, and then I have to figure out what their questions are and then what's not a question, because some people don't really say their questions in the form of a question sometimes. So there's a lot of stuff around communication as well. So you start out doing SEO thinking, I'm going to be this big SEO guy, and not realize that a lot of the SEO that you're doing is easy in the beginning, but in the end, like as you scale, it becomes a lot more difficult as you have to start realizing that there's all these different things that go into it. So we got my regret not finding your channel and website sooner, right on, and build links to it to be authority and maintenance is fine, as your competitors will try to beat you. Been a great last few weeks since finding it. Not studying an SEO website, but just watching your video on YouTube. Hello Chase, what are your thoughts about PBNs? I don't use them. So true, don't charge hours. Blake says, my biggest problem right now is not being able to close my own freelance clients. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like managing people either. My biggest regret is that I'm still stuck in a job that gives me money but no satisfaction, because I'm afraid that it will not be good enough for starting a career in SEO. That I will not. Yeah, so that's the other thing, is a lot of people are afraid to start their own career. Like, I'll tell you guys personally, like when I started SEO, I didn't really have anything. Like I had a computer repair business, and I wound up outranking everybody in my town for SEO, and that's how I got a job at the #1 SEO agency that I was working at. But I wasn't happy working there because I knew that I could do my own thing, sort of like IONET. So what you got to do is you got to this is what I did, is I came up with sort of a game plan. I saved up enough money. I saved up like 10 grand, which isn't that much. And I moved into this garage, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try to do what I can to get SEO clients, because I felt confident enough in my abilities of knowing about SEO to start being able to get clients. And it was tough because I was doing like 5 to 6 videos a day. And I wasn't making any money. I didn't have any viewers. I had like maybe, I think 50 subscribers. I was literally calling web design companies in different towns. I just Google different towns, web design. And I would say, hey, look, I'm ranking #1 on YouTube right now for local SEO, for tutorials around it. I want to know if you have any local clients that might need SEO to go with your web design. A lot of people thought I was crazy, which is fine. And I didn't get that many clients out of it. And then I switched it to calling local businesses. I called a chiropractor, I called a real estate. A lot of people, didn't want to talk to me, or they hung up on me. And then finally I got this acupuncturist. I got her on the phone. I'm like, look, I'm #1 for local SEO tutorials on YouTube. I'm the guy that's going to help you. I used to work at the #1 agency in Santa Barbara. I want to help you rank #1 for acupuncture. And she's already #4. That's why you target people who are like #4 or 5, because if you target people who are already ranking, it's a lot easier to raise their rankings. Literally, and this is a secret for you guys, if you just do citations and they're like #4, if you just do like citations and start generating like 20 to 30 reviews off like a friends list on Facebook, you will get them to rank like #2 or #1 within like weeks, like if not sooner. I think I remember ranking her within like a couple days on like #3. And that is a deliverable in itself. I was only charging like $400 or $300 because I just needed money. But out of that, you get a case study, and then you can start, calling other chiropractors in other areas and just show them what you did. The other thing that's really important is that if you can start doing video like this and start doing video audits, I've been getting feedback from people in the group saying that they started doing video audits and now they're getting clients because of the visual content aspect. When you do visual content, it really adds to your credibility. I can go and, do a huge blog post on why somebody should sign up for my content, or sign up as a client, and I can do a whole roadmap and send it to an email. But the minute I go on and I do these roadmaps live for them on YouTube, and they see all these comments and everything, they immediately position me as the expert because they see that I'm talking about the things that need to be fixed, and that really adds the credibility because I'm actually live saying it. You have to do visual content if you want to sell these days, because so many people are not using visual content to sell. And And I'm not saying like people aren't using visual content to sell SEO. I'm saying like a lot of people are using visual content. Like for instance, like people who are doing Facebook ads are trying to sell courses and products and all this stuff. But if you start selling your roadmaps or your SEO packages through video, the conversion rate goes up way higher because not many people do that. A lot of people in the SEO industry are actually scared to get on video because they're afraid that people are going to like, criticize them for not knowing what they're talking about. And the cool thing is that when you actually get on video, at first it seems like you don't know what you're talking about because you're just naturally on video, you're not used to talking. When you start spending more time on video, you become more naturally able to talk, and that's how you can start like refining what you're saying. The cool thing is like there's a lot of people on YouTube or do the same sort of stuff that I do that sell a lot of stuff, and they actually don't really know a lot about SEO, but they have the ability to go on video and seem like they do. And that's the same reason why there's so many SEOs that have SEO clients, is because they know a little bit about something and they know just enough about like keyword research or just enough about building links that they can literally just talk about only that subject and then sell somebody on that. And the cool thing also is like I just made a post in the Facebook group. I said, I'm not an internet marketing genius. I just know what buttons to click. And it's so true because like you can sell pretty much anything right now in terms of internet marketing because there's so many things. You could sell funnels, you could sell Facebook ads, you could sell YouTube ads, you could sell remarketing, like all this stuff. Like even me, I need help with certain things, right? But what it really is about is being like hyper focused on that one thing. So like for instance, if one of you guys were to spend the next 3 weeks just only watching funnels or videos on how to make funnels or only to do Facebook ads, and you got really skilled and learned a bunch of stuff, you could pretty much talk about that for an hour or 2 hours easily because there's so much, and get clients from it just because you know enough about that one subject. So I think that's the other big regret that I never really focused on until later, was becoming hyper focused in just one thing. I was trying to be good at social media. I was trying to be good at email marketing. I was trying to be good at all this stuff. And then I realized, I'm like, look, if I just hyper focus SEO and I start doing videos for it, I know that people are going to become interested in it. And they're going to see that I know what I'm talking about because I'm only focusing on this one subject. The other thing is that it's really hard to focus on thousands of things at once. And that's kind of what you have to do in this industry. So it's, in my opinion, more important to start trying to focus on like one topic at a time, get really good at that, and then switch to the next one. Just because that's like usually how our brains work, and that's how you get really good at one thing, is by spending all your time focusing on that one thing and then switching to something else. Let's see what we got. The hardest part is giving over the control. At the start, I wanted to do everything myself too. I was worried about giving client passwords to people I was training. So that's the other thing that I totally relate with, is when I first started hiring people, I was telling, everybody on this channel, I was like, look, I don't want to hire other people because I'm scared that they're not going to know what they're doing. They're not going to be able to do the quality of work that I do. They're going to mess up and the clients are going to get pissed. I'm going to lose the clients. But if you don't hire other people and you don't add some risk, which is, there's always going to be risk when you're involving other people, you're never going to be able to scale. And if you don't scale, you're going to spend all your time doing things that are really manual. So you have to take a chance. Like there's no way around it. And I remember people were telling me this when I first started trying to scale. The thing that you really want to make sure you do, and this was one of the other things that I regret, is just make sure that if you're not cross-checking them, you have somebody that is checking on them. Because, people can be as honest, quote unquote, as possible on the internet, but when you start working with people who are who do internet stuff, there's a lot of rope for people to hang themselves. And I see this time and time again. There's tons of people who will say that they'll do stuff in terms of internet deliverables, and then they won't do it because they found, for instance, somebody else to outsource to, right? And then it's just a chain of people outsourcing to each other. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you're really checking in and constantly either checking in on them or hire somebody to help you check in on them for you, which is what we're actually in the process of doing right now. Did you have an agency experience before? Yeah, I had a year as an SEO manager at an agency when I started. I regret not jumping full into SEO sooner. It's a passion. I'm finally doing it beyond ft.ps. Love your content. It's transparent, actionable, and honest. Keep up the good work. +1 for visual content. Video audits are good for selling. Yeah, I was scared too of being told I'm wrong. It's not about being wrong. It's a difference of opinion. Yeah, so I think the other biggest thing is not taking yourself too seriously in this industry. Like, there's a lot of stuff that will really kill your spirit in the SEO industry, and I think one of the biggest things is like other people's opinions, because you're basically on the internet, you're around everybody else who's on the internet, which is all around the world. And this was one of the things that really started discouraging me, was doing all these videos and having people tell me that the things I was saying weren't correct, or different things around criticism. So the biggest thing I think is just to not really I think it is to understand that you can always be helpful, but it's more important to go out there and start doing content and building authority and be wrong about things than it is to spend your time not doing that stuff and being scared of what people are going to say and like not building the authority, because there's so much out there right now. Like, you guys could literally replicate what I'm doing right now, and I actually talk about this in the SEO course that I do. I literally show you guys how to compete with me, because there's so much room out there right now. Like, there's so much untapped opportunity for the kind of stuff that I'm doing right here, that literally anybody could enter this and provide tons of value. But I think a lot of people are really scared because they don't want to be like, they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be, whatever. But really the only difference between me and the people who are not doing this stuff is the fact that I just go on and I press the button which says go live and I just talk. So that's it for today. If you guys like these videos, make sure you leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to do so. And then if you want to join the Facebook group and get help with any SEO, just make sure you go over to chaserunner.com and sign up here. So until I see you guys next time, where is it? Happy SEOing.